Hey everybody, this is Craig.
And this is KJ.
And this is Truly Remarkable Life.
Two gay expats on a journey.
That's right. And we are bringing you a little something different this week. We're going to tell you about finding our house in Mexico.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting process. And so we thought we would bring it to you and share with you that process. If you're ever thinking about doing anything like this, there were some things that we found out along the way that would help you, or what decisions we made along the way, and then for us personally, why did we choose what we chose?
So the first thing really is you got to make the decision, do you want to rent or do you want to own? And for us, that was a very easy decision. We actually knew after the last 8 years in remodeling 4 houses, we are done being homeowners for a while.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Just done. I don't want to be responsible for all of that. I can take care of a house, great. I don't want to. I'm a great tenant, let's put it that way. So we made the decision to rent, and that changed things. Now, in the beginning, we were looking at everything, and we started, looking at different websites and those types of things, and the groups that we joined for Ajijic and Lake Chapala. We figured out some different rental groups that were reputable, people recommended them, that kind of thing. We were looking at everything. We were just having fun. We were looking at $5 million houses. We were looking at,
I don't know why. I have no idea why we were looking at $5 million houses, but it's just kind of fun.
It's a whole new place. It's a whole new type of architecture, and we were learning about it, and we had a lot of fun. Then we started realizing we needed to narrow that down.
Yeah, and the other thing is we have been geographically restricted. When you're a homeowner, you live where you own your home. And in this next phase of our lives, we really want to be able to travel the world, and we want to be untethered.
Yeah, and being untethered doesn't mean that we won't rent long term. It just means that, we won't have those things that tie us contractually to a place.
Right.
For very long. So, the next thing that I wanted to tell you is make sure when you're doing something like this that you do the research online. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram, whatever, and look at groups for the area where you're going and get to know, start talking to people, get to know them, have chats with people, comment, ask questions, and you'll start quickly figuring out what groups are good, what groups are kind of chaotic, narrow that search down, and then start finding those real niche groups like, hey, these are houses for rent in this area. And that was part of our plan, is figuring out what area we wanted to live in. And we did that. We found Ajijic and decided that it was walkable. It was, everything near you. There were stores. We're not going to starve to death because we won't have a car.
Right. I mean, that was really important. We figured out what city we wanted to live in, and we also made the decision that we actually want to live in the city as opposed to outside, or in
a subdivision type of an area.
Right. So you start figuring those things out. We're not taking a vehicle. We're not planning on buying a vehicle right at the very get-go. So we need something very walkable, get to the stores, get to restaurants, that sort of thing. The other thing Craig was talking about, joining different groups and whatnot. I'm going to segue off on that a little bit. Look at these groups and pay attention to who is saying what. Read the comments, and you will very quickly start to find people that you think are your tribe, and you can reach out to them. And people are so friendly and so helpful. And during this process, we've met some really interesting and fun people. But most importantly, we've actually made friends with a really cool couple. And I have to give a shout out to Amy and Mariana. They have been absolutely instrumental in our process of getting this done.
Oh, totally. And I mean, finding somebody that you can trust and that is well versed in that area. They've done the same thing that we're doing, moving from the U.S. to Mexico to this neighborhood. They chose this neighborhood as well. That made a world of difference. They know what's happening. They know if it's safe, if it's not, if there's a place to walk your dog, if there's a store around the corner, all of that.
So our process really kind of came down to, we had decided where we wanted to live. We had done a lot of research, looked at a lot of houses. We were starting to kind of narrow things down, looking at real estate agents, that sort of thing. And then just miraculously, one day, Amy actually texted me and she said, "Hey, there is a townhome just down the street from where we live in the neighborhood you're wanting to move to, and they have a for rent sign up." And
just went up.
It just went up, and so she sent me a picture of it. I called the guy. We spoke and everything, and it turns out that the person who owns the property actually had just bought it. Yeah. And she was having it renovated and upgraded, and it was going to have new furniture, come fully furnished. You know, we talked a while and everything, and it was literally everything that we were wanting, which was amazing.
Yeah, so that brings us to the house. So we worked with, our friend and got all the information, and then we contacted the landlord and leasing agent. We worked through that process, like step by step, going, okay, is the leasing agent sound legit? Now can we get the landlord's information? Is that legit? Are they getting back with us? Are their numbers active? Can I find them elsewhere? All those things you do to test to make sure, is this a real person, or am I getting, because anytime you're moving internationally, you're always worried about that, even if it's not a widespread problem. So we did all those checks and balances, and one thing at a time gave us a little more confidence. And then our friends actually, because the house was only 4 houses away, I believe, made an appointment. We made an appointment, and they did a walkthrough on camera for us. Like, did a video live, walked through the whole house, showed us anything we wanted to see, made sure they looked at condition. They are good with houses, so they knew what to know. Nothing's musty, nothing's damp, nothing's crumbling, and that really, really helped us make that final decision, since we're not able to be there in person to actually make that decision. And we jumped on it, and we got it.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, it's you have those moments where you start to get worried. One of the things that Craig and I, coming from the U.S. to Mexico,
skeptical.
We're a little skeptical, and we do have to get used to the concept of mañana. Things don't happen as quick as we're accustomed to in the U.S. So I would text the property, the person renovating the property manager, and sometimes they just didn't get immediately right back with me. And so that starts to feed doubt and whatnot. But luckily for us, our friends down there, they were able to text us and go, no, they're still working on it. Or we see furniture being moved in. We had this live interaction, knowing that everything was progressing.
Yeah. So that was a good point too, is that the house we've rented, so let's talk about that as the last item here. The house we've rented is a fully furnished home. A little sparsely furnished, but that's okay, because you want to be able to put your stamp on it.
Yeah.
And most of the utilities are included. We're not going to go over pricing or anything like that. But we did want a house that had an extra bedroom and bathroom for guests. We're going to probably have a lot of people wanting to come see us. So we've got that. And it has a beautiful studio upstairs with basically it's an ensuite type of a room with a screened porch and patios and those types of things. So we really lucked out. And then recently we were able to do another walkthrough to see the final after renovation, after furnishing, and it's beautiful. We'll have to buy a few things to make it ours. We're bringing it helps us know what to bring, what not to bring. And that's the next video that we're going to do, is how we are packing and how our lives are chaos.
Yes. So the big takeaway for this is, whenever you are going to be moving abroad and kind of sight unseen-ish, do your research.
Do your research, cross all the T's, dot all the I's, make sure everything checks out, and do your research to understand the area where you're going.
Talk to locals.
What are the customs? What are the holidays? Is there a parade that goes in front of your house? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, there's a lot to understand.
Are you next door to a bar?
Right.
All of those things are important, and so you got to start. You got to start at nothing, build, and when you find what you want, you'll know it. So we are excited. The part 2 of this video is going to be, like I said, showing you about packing up, why we're taking, what we're taking, and what it's been like. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube definitely, and hit that notification bell and give it a tap, and you'll get notified.
Make sure to subscribe.
Please do. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.
Adios.
Bye-bye.